Riri, I love that song. Rihanna actually came out as a special guest. Jay-Z was doing a concert in New York and Rihanna came out. It was a treat after all these years. It was great to see her. She is absolutely amazing. For sure. Mr. A, what have you been up to? Hey, Deb, good to see ya. What is up with everybody? Oh my goodness. Okay, I have to find it, and I had it pulled up. I was just pulling up some of the clip channels to watch. I pulled up SDA, and they had clipped, I don't know, there was fighting going on Ernie's panel, so I'm not sure what they were fighting about, but they were screaming and stuff. I mean, not lying, I've had my moments, but I don't, when people get up there and they're screaming over the top of them, you just cannot understand what they're saying or what they're fighting about. For sure. I had something I was going to talk about. Now I have to find it. Did you guys happen to see the videos that came out where some individuals went into the Sider home? And I'm going to find it and show it to you guys. I don't know how all of those freaking people even were in that house. We're talking about 16, 17, 20 people in that house. Oh, you've been nice, Mr. A. That is great. That is wonderful. Well, you are a nice guy. It doesn't matter what anybody says, Mr. A. You are a nice guy. I know you've always been really nice to me. So I consider you a very special person, no matter what anybody says. I know I wanted to also talk about the young man that went out on a day trip with his friends, and he never came back home. He never came back home. The case has really been something out there. Did you guys know that Scott Peterson, have you guys heard about this Scott Peterson stuff? They say that there's new evidence. Okay, this I definitely want to talk about. I just think it's very important that we discuss this case. Let me pull it up for you guys. This is a very scary case. Please feel free to talk about whatever you want in chat. All I ask is that be kind to each other in chat. Everybody has different opinions on stuff. And You just have to respect that over here. Dress your words up. You know, I'm just at like, you guys police yourselves, okay? Because I know Mr. A's in here, but I mean, Carrie comes in when she gets a chance, and I appreciate that 1,000%. But I don't want to put it all on Carrie. Hey, Karen with a C. Bomba Cat. Dang. Yeah, that I'm telling you. I don't know what they were fighting about on Ernie's panel, but SDA had it in their clip, so. Okay, guys, listen to this. A mother from Tennessee was found unalived in Ohio after she traveled 550 miles to meet a man she met through a video game. They are waiting for the coroner's report to determine exactly how she passed away. You know, would you guys meet somebody like that? Seriously, how many people would? I don't think there's anything wrong with meeting people that you've met through the internet. If it was in a public place, right? There's May May, right? If it was in a public place. But she was found unalived outside of a home in Cleveland, Ohio on July 3rd. She went to visit this man. Oh, those are cute shoes. You guys, I'm a weirdo. I love shoes. I love different kinds of shoes. Those are really cute, though. Those are cute sandals. Okay, anywho. So she traveled to meet this man that she met through a video game. She traveled, oh my gosh, she traveled with her 8-year-old daughter, who was dropped off at a local fire station 2 days before her body was found. No. Wow. She took her 8-year-old daughter with her to meet a man that she only knew through a video game. You met your partner playing poker online. There's nothing wrong with meeting people online, you guys. I flew from Middle Tennessee to Dallas, Texas in the early 90s for a blind date a friend set me up with. The question is, when you first met them, did you meet them in a public place, or did you meet them at a motel? Did you meet them having coffee? Right? And I'm sure you didn't have a child with you, right, Bomba Cat? It's a blessing. Oh, you met him at the airport. That's a good place to meet up with somebody, at the airport, right? It's a blessing that someone took that child to a fire department and dropped that child off. Do you know how many predators would have done this in the hopes of not necessarily even caring about the mother for the child? For the child. I've told you guys this before. There are predators that will befriend a single mother knowing they have children. They will love bomb these single mothers. They will treat them like gold. They will actually stay with these women sometimes for years just to have access to their children. Just to have access to their children. A good example of that, and this is my opinion, I'm a commentary channel and I give my opinion. Stephen Stearns is a great example of that. I truly do not believe he would have stayed with Madeline Soto's mother if he would not have had the access to Madeline that he had. For sure. But she traveled with her 8-year-old daughter, who 2 days before her mother was found, they dropped her off at a local fire station. The mother was 37 years old. Her remains were discovered at a property in Cleveland. As I said, they're waiting on the coroner's report. Case is still pending. And as of right now, they haven't said a whole lot about it. Her place of... She came from Spring Hill, Tennessee. Wow, it's a blessing that they turned that little girl over to the fire department. So the little girl seemed to be uninjured, and she had a phone number in her pocket for her grandmother in Tennessee. Did mom put the phone number in her pocket and tell her if something happened? Wow. That is crazy. During Graham's visit to Cleveland, she talked to him and his wife on the phone. The couple heard an angry man's voice in the background. Graham stopped communicating with loved ones back in Tennessee and did not show up for work. They reported her missing on July 2nd. That's pretty wild. Pretty wild. People just don't know anymore. They really don't. But yeah, the Scott Peterson stuff, I believe he's going to be getting a new trial. if I remember correctly. Craziness. If you worked, let me ask you guys this. If you worked at a establishment that sold lottery tickets, and well, let me just tell you the story. So this guy worked at Circle K, right? He cashed in a $12.8 million lottery ticket that was left behind by a customer. Now, Circle K said it filed a lawsuit. Circle K is like a convenience store over here, for sure. Well, there's a lot of people. I mean, you would think that he's guilty, right? There was a 2-year-old little girl left at your border in America. She was alone with a letter in her pocket. Oh my goodness, May, you wouldn't believe how many times that happens. You really would not believe how many times that happens. We will check it. How many children are left lost? I've seen it was like a documentary about the border from, of course, the United States into Mexico. There were individuals that were putting children over the wall and just leaving them there. These were toddlers. Toddlers. I mean, is it stealing? Is it stealing? Okay, so they say there's approximately 300,000 unaccompanied migrant children who crossed the U.S.-Mexico border. These are children that they are saying are unaccounted for. They say out of Department of Homeland Security states that out of roughly 450,000 minors who entered the country illegally, around 146,000 have been successfully located. They say nearly 300,000 are still missing. They have fraudulent sponsors. That is crazy. That is just crazy. For sure. Okay, so this clerk says they did nothing wrong. So the company itself, Circle K, filed a complaint after one of its store clerks purchased a $12.8 million lottery ticket left behind by a customer. Well, wait, they paid for it? The attorney for the store clerk says that he did follow company policy by purchasing the unclaimed ticket after confirming with the supervisor. So what's the freaking problem then? Okay, so all right, so this is what happened. I was never good at lottery stuff, right? We had a 78-year-old politician beaten. It's being treated as terrorism. 28-year-old was arrested. I seen where somebody passed away. I can't remember who it was. It wouldn't let you post, Tara. I don't know. I haven't been on YouTube. I haven't been in anybody's chats to see. May, you just told on yourself. You said you only loved me, May, and you went nowhere else. I'm just playing. I'm just playing, May. You know I am. Okay, so the customer paid $60 and the clerk had printed out $85 worth of tickets. So the customer did pick what tickets he wanted. And hey, I might have done that too, right? The tickets were left unattended at the store till the next morning when the winning numbers were called. The clerk clocked out of work the same day, purchased the tickets from an employee. I don't see any problem with it. I don't see a problem with it. Give the man his money. Give that man his money. Okay, let me pull up the videos. I want to try to find the videos of the cider home. Hang on, they should be on my watch later. I do not know how they even lived in the house. Video inside the cider residence. It's a mess. It is a mess. Okay, that's Zab Girl. I used to watch Zab all the time. I really liked Zab Girl. She covered the Summer Wells case. She had a lot of stuff out there. A lot of the church pictures and stuff of Summer. Absolutely, I watched from her channel. It was really good. But then you guys remember, okay, wait, I want to get some, this guy's got bigger pictures. Okay, I'm going to drop this guy's link. Let's see if we can I want to try to make sure I get the best ones for you guys. For sure. Let me get rid of some of these, do-do-do-dos. Okay. This is from a channel called Class E. I just want to show you guys some of these pictures because I do not know how in the world. As I said, I am a commentary channel and I give my opinion. Let's go ahead and watch this. I wasn't going to listen to it, but we're going to listen to it too. And I'm going to comment on it. So here we go. These are pictures from inside the Sider home. I thought I had some better ones. I was trying to pull up my own stuff without having to use YouTube. Let me see. Does this one show it? This is ABC News. Hold on. I don't know if it's going to show it. Let me see if it's going to show it on this one or not. That's got a commercial on it. I don't know how anybody was even in this house. It's not a scratch off, May. What they do is you pick your own numbers and then they print them out somehow, right? No, that's not what it sounded like at all. Okay, this is mainly the outside, I believe. Okay, this is the outside. They're showing a little bit about the outside. I guess they're going in to clean it up. I don't want to hear that guy. They are saying that, okay, this is not the one I was looking for. We'll come back to this guy. They were saying that there's no fucking way that they could have lived in this house. 20 people supposedly living in this house. Okay, this is from a channel called Class E. Like I said, I'm a commentary channel and I give my opinion. So I am using Class E's content. I hope he doesn't mind.
The case involving, we've actually got some video footage from people who have been able to get access to the home, get inside, film what is going on inside, and actually get a real view of what this living situation was for these children.
You guys, seriously, looking at these pictures inside this home, how in the world? Hey, Grumble, did you have a good time at the movies? How did 20 people live in this house? How did 20 people, 16 of them children, live in this house?
Gary Sr., Gary Jr., Christina, and for Elizabeth and whoever else was in there, because I heard they had some animals involved in this as well, different types of cats and things like that. And then we're also going to give you guys an update from Amy on what's going on with the status of the children, including their birth certificates, where they were born, and who potentially they belong to. So
and yes, I think they verified that 6 or more children were absolutely born at a hospital.
let's go ahead and get into this first. These are some pictures that we were able to find from inside of the Siders home. Now we're going to click through these, and shout out to Jennifer C. I always mess up her last name. She's a former FBI agent who has contributed to a lot of platforms, and even some of
Jennifer Coffendopper is who he's speaking about. So these pictures must have came from Jennifer Coffendopper's channel.
the videos we've covered here. But you can see in these videos, there's what looks like the image of a bathroom. I don't even know if they had running water in this place. You have some of these, it looks like a toilet there. And
now, I'm telling you guys, Elizabeth Siders looks horrible. She looks like she's got like pink eye.
even going back to this first picture, you can
No
see
way.
all the clothes in here, the ceiling's falling apart.
Come on, you guys. Where were they sleeping? Where were they eating?
And again, they did not own this home. This home was either being rented, or they signed a lease, or they were.
And this is the thing too, whether people understand this or not, there are a lot of times when homeowners, maybe at some point they had a relative who was a hoarder, right? Their house is in horrendous condition, and individuals who don't have a lot of money, right? A landlord will say, I will let you move into the house and you clean it up, and I will let you live there. I will lower the rent if you are cleaning up the home, right? That does happen. I'm not saying that that is what happened here. It doesn't seem like that. I don't remember off the top of my head. Hey, Sipsy. I don't remember off the top of my head how long that they had been living in this specific house.
We don't know. I don't believe they were squatting, because reports were saying that they had a lease and they were actually allowed to be there. I don't know how they were paying for this. We even heard reports that we talked about in the last couple of videos that they were receiving some type of government assistance as well.
Okay, so if they were receiving government assistance, we had heard prior, right, that it seemed like anytime that the state would maybe question them, they would move. They would move. And that happens a lot with individuals that CPS becomes involved in their life. They pack up and move. They move to a different state. A lot of them do just move to a different state altogether.
Now, whether that was for the children or just for Gary Sr. and his wife, we don't know. But here's what Jennifer had to say about this. 16 kids found in Ohio, nothing to see here. The kids were, quote, gifts from God. They just wanted a big family, according to Elizabeth, right?
And yes, that's what Elizabeth is saying, that absolutely all of these children were wanted. Okay. Elizabeth wanted a big family. I guess I look at Gary Sider Jr. in a way that maybe other people don't. I am putting a lot of it on him. He was the father. He obviously was not taking care of his children, his wife, or his parents.
Some kids had cell phones, which we've talked about, and I've shown you guys information on some of the things that were posted by the kids on social media.
Yes. And like I said, this channel he has put out where allegedly some of the children had access to social media. Some of the children could speak. They go to the home. Hey, flies, let me tell you this. This is what is interesting to me. They said that they were going to the home initially to, I can't remember if they had an arrest warrant or they were just investigating. Gary Siders Jr. had went outside of the home, had showed himself more than one time. Law enforcement was investigating that. What I don't understand is why now, right? They are not going to discuss what the initial complaint was to start with. Now, we heard, I believe he was with the fire department. I don't remember. He talked about transporting a couple of the children to the hospital, said that they were nonverbal, that they wouldn't speak. Their conditions were poor. And I'm not going to say I know for a fact. I was not there when, and this is just my opinion, this is where my mind goes. When you have children who have never been given social skills, when all they know is what they've grown up, what their parents have allowed them to a child isn't necessarily going to start talking to a stranger that is taking them from their mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, no matter what the conditions, right? No matter what the conditions. That's what them children knew. It looks like the roof is falling in, right? When we have court date, there will be a lot said. I believe his parents are just as much, if not more, at fault. Well, they had to have money coming in. They had to have had some sort of money coming in. But now Gary Sider Sr., we know that his health is not good, right? Yes, Elizabeth Siders looks horrific. Now, could it have just been that she was crying and very emotional? It almost looks to me like she's got pink eye in both eyes, right? And why didn't they ask for help?
Allegedly, they could communicate. Sounds like a regular Leave It to Beaver environment. Well, that's a little dramatic, she says. Not hoodwinked by Mr. Siders' attorney's comments. She left the kids in filth, human feces, and in a 12 by 12 room for 4 years. This is
Okay, so 4 years they supposedly were living in the house, right? All the kids supposedly in a 12 by 12 room. There's no bed.
isn't property. Many poor people are very clean. This
true.
is wanton neglect and child endangerment.
There are many, many, many people who do not come from, wealth. They are very clean people. You're talking about 16 children, 4 adults. And they lacked proper hygiene. The toilet looked like it had never been used. I mean, it looked used, but didn't look like that the, bathroom was working, right?
She says, imagine the stench, imagine the heat, imagine the insects, imagine the inability to develop.
Gross.
Elizabeth didn't have to imagine. She saw it every day. She needs a good lawyer, and I'm glad she found someone who believes in her cause. What do you guys think about that? Because again, even if you look in the comments of the videos we've covered this, seems like everybody's pretty torn on Elizabeth.
Well, I think a lot of people are torn on Elizabeth due to the fact that Gary Siders Jr. Married Elizabeth when she was 15 years old. She started producing children. From my understanding, she was pregnant when Gary Siders Jr. married her. So, what is it called when someone I saw an article where a woman said she had worked with the family for 2 years. Think she is just much as fault too. This didn't happen overnight, over 2 years. So did they move in? I guess this is my question too. Did they move into a home that already had, an overabundance of stuff in it, and the agreement was clean it up and I'll rent it to you or whatever? Or is all of this mess just from the 4 years that they were there? 16 children. I don't know how Elizabeth wasn't overwhelmed. It's one thing to want a big family. Do you guys remember the case I covered where, and I can't remember how law enforcement found this couple. They had like 21 babies. They had like 21 babies. But of course, they lived in a very beautiful home. So it was not in these conditions, right? Yes, not every young girl that has a child at 14 or 15 do not take care of the child. There are young mothers that absolutely do take care of the children. Now, we know Elizabeth Sider's brother had not seen her when he finally seen his sister Elizabeth. It had been like 15 years since he had seen her. No one, from what I see, are calling out or placing any blame on Elizabeth's mother and father, right? Maybe at the beginning there were maybe things didn't start out this way. Maybe after so many children, Elizabeth became so overwhelmed. Maybe it was maybe she was brainwashed in a way. I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas out there.
Elizabeth Sider. Some say she was a
Gary.
victim. Others say she had to have known what was going on and that this wasn't right. Just being an adult. I tend to lean more on the side that maybe two things can be true. Maybe she was a victim as she was a child before she became an adult. And as she grew older and got to see the conditions, especially over the last 4 years, she had to have known as an adult that this wasn't right. And you could at least
see, I don't understand it either, because I mean, these pictures and looking at the kitchen and things like that, how were they eating? How are they cooking? It was said by the dollar store lady that their hygiene was horrible. Now, one thing I will say, I really took notice when they were talking about the individuals from the dollar store had been buying them hygiene products, right? And they felt that they were not using the hygiene products. Yet we don't know that, right? Now, not to sound gross or anything, but you do not have a monthly cycle when you're married or when you're pregnant. When you're married, I bet some guys married wish that wasn't happening, but so no, none of them had a job, Carrie. I don't know if at the beginning that they had jobs or not. It doesn't sound like it. Yes, 2 children were I think one child was even intubated.
Reach out, contact someone, see if there's some help you can get. We'll have to see if that happened in this case as we move forward. We're going to get into some of the video that I promised you all. This first video is going to show pictures and a walkthrough from inside the house.
Okay, here we go.
Just, you cannot believe, if you've never seen this before, what the inside of this house looked like. Check this out. And I'm not going to play the sound here, but you can see the house itself was just bad. Now, I will say this.
Where were they sitting? Right? Oh, me neither, Flies. I don't put no, I do not put all that responsibility on Elizabeth. Not at all. But with 16 kids, where I'm sure possibly his mom and dad got money every month. I wonder if he received a check, if Siders Jr. received a check, right? I believe that they were bringing in money, Carrie, right? I don't think anybody's arguing that, Sipsy. I don't think that anybody's making excuses for any child to live like that, or any child who had to be taken to a hospital due to lack of care that they were receiving from home.
Could this have happened to a house over 4 years? Possibly, but I find it hard to believe that even after 4 years of filth, that the house went from being perfectly inhabitable, nothing wrong with it, to the ceiling falling apart. And
thank you. That's what I was saying. So he just said it better than I did. What condition? And look, I am not going to sit here and say that this was all due to the condition of the home when they moved in. But when you got 16 children, she didn't have 16 when she moved in, because she had 3 sets of twins within that 4-year period. Actually, if I remember correctly, she had 4 sets of twins. 1 set was conjoined that passed away. So within the time, it seems like that they lived in this home, she was pregnant the whole time, right? Because if I remember right, the twins were 4 years old, 2 years old, and 1 year old, right? Something along those lines. This is what I wonder. Did the Siders, mom, dad, son, leave all of it to Elizabeth? Left it all to Elizabeth. Gary Siders Jr. just looks like that kind of guy to me, right? That would say, Elizabeth, you're my wife. You're the mother of these kids. It's your responsibility to completely care for all of these kids. And I truly believe that she was in a position, Elizabeth was, where he also put her uh, to take care of his mom and dad also. Well, it wasn't their home, they were renting. And like I said, I am not saying that, this house was fit for any child, let alone any person to live in. But I'm kind of wondering what the condition of the house was when they moved in. With her having those kids close, I bet there was disability. She didn't have time to heal. Yes, I have said that too, Flies. I have absolutely said that. There is no way that physically she had time to heal throughout all of these pregnancies. And she might have been a healthy teenager, 15 years old. It sounds like Elizabeth was a healthy teenager. Then she marries Gary Siders Jr., which, having all of those children, I think her emotional level, right, would mentally, that had to have taken a toll. Yes, I agree. I just look at that guy, and I'm telling you, yeah.
Other things, but again, I guess it's possible.
If you need something to
Okay,
live,
hold on.
Much of this was a result of police going through the house, because y'all know you've seen houses before and after pictures of police going in.
See,
And
that's what I don't understand. So if the cops went in there, where we're talking about 16 kids, they're trying to say they were all in a 12 by 12 room. If that room was as cluttered as this house, I mean, that I want to know exactly why law enforcement went to that home. I really do. And why all of a sudden they want to keep that close to the vest.
investigating, and sometimes they just make it worse, but it's clear in this case.
And we've seen the Wells home, right? Don says that they came and searched 110 Ben Hill Road like 9 times. He said that they kept throwing all of his tools out of the vehicle. All of that stuff was going on. Yeah.
That there's the cleanliness was just not up to par.
So, okay, that obviously is the living room.
Like, look at all this stuff. You've got the walls falling apart. You've got food, looks like, on the floor. You can see cigarettes. I just find it hard to believe that nobody knew there were kids there. And if they didn't know there were kids there, I mean, maybe they didn't know they were in danger, but man.
None of
You
it's
see
making
bugs crawling up
sense.
the walls. Oh my gosh.
There's no way they were cooking on that stove. What were they eating? What could they have possibly even been eating?
And it looks like they had some food. We actually are going to have a conversation a little bit later about
I
what
like this
happened
guy.
at the stores that we were mentioned, because there were reports that there was a Dollar General and the people that worked there got to see some of the kids and interact with them, and they say everything seemed fine in a lot of cases.
See, and that is what gets me too, because some of these people that worked at the dollar store talked about there were times when a couple of the kids were brought in and they, of course, didn't seem like, you know, they were clean or anything like that, but they didn't say that the children were not verbal and stuff, right? Exactly, Bomber Cat. Exactly. There was a separate investigation going on, but I'm wondering what it was. It wasn't the indecent exposure stuff, right?
Got the kids' toys inside the house. Man, this is bad. Again, a lot in the same area. And then you can see this is one of the rooms as well. Now, I want to show you guys another video on this
There's
as well.
not
And
any-
this one is actually from the news. It shows a little bit of the outside of the home. And the reason I want to show you this is because it verifies the next video we're going to see that shows one of the rooms, or the room where allegedly the kids were saying you get to see crates that were set up, you get to see some beds, and then it leads into a back porch area. But watch this and keep all that in mind.
So here's that house.
Okay. I just muted that so you guys aren't going to hear it. So obviously they had vehicles. They had vehicles. See, and they're saying too, because of the fact that Elizabeth Sider's lawyer, I've heard him speak a couple times, and the way that the Attorney General came out and spoke, referring to cattle in a barn, livestock being treated better than the kids. If Elizabeth Siders was going to hospitals and having these children, would you not think that she wouldn't have had the mental capacity to know that her children physically, medically was not doing well, to take them to a hospital? Was the older man, Gary Sider Sr., had he been previously seen by a doctor? None of it makes a lot of sense to me. For sure. And this is just someone that went through and took video and screenshots. Took videos and screenshots. So they'll show it in court. I can guarantee you that. They'll show it in court. That's disgusting. That is disgusting. But these children had to have been walking around the house. Oh, that's gross. All right, that is supposed to be the room. Let me back this up a little bit.
Footage of what the inside of this home looked like, going into some of the other rooms, and you're going to get to see where the kids and allegedly the adults lived at the same time.
I wanted to post just the video footage of this video of someone walking into the Siders
Wow.
family home. I believe they went through the back door of the house, and that is this big room we see here. And then this may lead into what I think looks like the kitchen. They walked in that room and then back out, and this is the back porch. I wanted to-
Wow.
So there's a back porch. You can
That's nasty. That is nasty. Oh my gosh. Why would you? I do believe it. Look, the Siders, Elizabeth, Gary Jr., Gary Sr., and the mother absolutely need to be charged. They do need to be charged. You cannot even, you wouldn't even want, I don't even know how the adults stayed in these conditions at all. And that, I mean, that's a conversation in itself, right? Maybe she did. Maybe she did want a large family and a big family. If they were getting government assistance, how many? I wonder if they were getting food stamps, right? Were they getting food stamps? We're talking about food stamps for 20 people. That kitchen should have been overstocked with food. Some sort of Stockholm syndrome. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for earlier, Sipsy. Some kind of a Stockholm syndrome. Yes, there was another Sider son that married a young girl. They were married for a couple of decades, for sure. Hang on. Okay, sorry. That was my sister. So they were getting EBT. Well, EBT was 16 kids. That's a lot of freaking money. And they went to several food banks a week. Is that what they said? Bomber Cat? Is that what Elizabeth said? How if people were not aware that there were 16 children in the house and they were aware, they're saying that they knew there were children. They tried to help with clothing and different things like that. Who was friendly enough with them that they opened up to these people and were like, hey, we're going to the food bank a few times a week? Or was it such a small area? And we've heard that it's a small area, that it was just knowledge. It was just everybody in the area knew exactly what they were doing. And if that was the case, did anyone contact CPS? Did anybody contact CPS?
See all of this. It looks like dirt. I don't think it's just dirt though. I think it's probably what we're all
Post
expecting.
just the video footage of this.
But this is, I mean, look at all the bugs. Can you? Oh my gosh.
That's
There's
horrible.
one bed. May have been more. It's hard to tell from this video.
That is sad.
Again, walls falling apart. And it looks like there was even a crawl space under one of the lower walls in that area as well.
That's crazy. That is crazy that children would live in that. Now, they say it was on a dead-end road. For sure. For sure, for sure. Wow. Wow, that's crazy. The news reported it, and they went to a diaper bank also. Let me ask you guys this for real. Yes, WIC. Yeah. Yeah, definitely flies. Wonder if they had WIC and stuff. Yeah, there was no electric. But this is the thing. Why didn't the landlord keep an eye on that? See, it used to be, and this is just in Indiana. I can't verify any other state or whatever. When someone rents a home and it's the renter's responsibility to have electric and gas hooked up, right? When electric and water and gas get shut off to a property, a rental property, the first thing that the electric company does is contact the landlord. They contact the landlord. Even if it's not in the landlord's name. they still let the landlord know that these services have been shut off. You would think, I don't know though. I don't know. I mean, for sure. But people are going to look at Elizabeth because she's the mother. They're going to make her out to be the monster because she's the mother. I truly think that Gary Sider Jr., he just looks like a creep. He looks like a creep. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They had food. They must have had food. So that tells you right there. How are you going to set? How is anybody going to say that your children did not have any food when you got everybody saying that they were going to food banks and they were getting EBT? They couldn't get food stamps and other things, and the kids not be in school. Because it's very easy to homeschool a child. And you can homeschool children and still get assistance for them, right? That's how it works in North Carolina. The rental people do have time to get it back on. That's what I've always heard. That if you have someone who is renting properties out, even if the agreement is that the renter turns the utilities on in their name, a lot of the times those utilities are already turned on by the rentee or renter. Maybe they were not feeding them. It's possible. It doesn't sound like that they knew anybody, Tara. They're making it out like these 20 individuals never. I mean, have you heard one person say that within the 4 years of them living there, that Elizabeth Sider had any friends? Yeah, if they had a caseworker for 2 years, why didn't they do anything? Yeah, they said they seen them spending their EBT because there was things that EBT wouldn't buy. But then they make a comment, right? Like, hey, we bought them items, to clean themselves up, and they never used them. How do they know they didn't use them? How do they know that the children did not use them some way, shape, or form in the home? How exactly, how long were they without the water and stuff? Hey, Genevieve. I get the isolation, but with 16 kids and 4 adults, whatever money was coming in, I can guarantee you it was controlled spending. Well, I don't know how you're getting financial exploitation, Genevieve. I don't know how you're, I don't know how financial exploitation would come into it. I get the isolation for sure. I definitely get the isolation part. Hey, Deb. Definitely get that. For sure. I am going to, hold on. This is the channel I was just showing. Definitely want to put this link in chat. So, well, okay. Okay, they were on welfare. I mean, but what's all that mean? And what happens if they find out that Elizabeth Sider was a victim in that home, right? Hold on. Let me pull my chat up real quick. Let me take a moment and pull my chat up. Hold on. I got to find Tara's comment. There it is. Tara, I had to remove your comment. The DRUGS word, YouTube gets me on that every time. And I am trying to Genevieve, yes, Genevieve. We need you, Genevieve. We need you, girl. We were talking about you. For sure. I'll have to call you. We'll have to 3-way call you, Genevieve. It's very important. We needeth you, girl. But even if they were on welfare, how did they get to the conditions that they got to? How? No, it's just the DRUG word. That's all it is, Tara. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Every once in a while, I do try to, I do try to talk about something that I can run ads on to make a little bit. I am not the richest lady on YouTube. I can guarantee you that. Most of my stuff I don't even run ads on. for sure. This live kind of went sideways with whatever I was talking about. How much time do you think that they're looking at for their charges? What is going to happen with Gary Sider Sr., right? Let me see. Hold on. How much time could the Siders receive? Let me see if I can find out. No, that's not what I was looking for. Hold on. What the freak? How much time could the Siders receive? And what charges? Hold on, because I spelled it. No, it says Siders, damn it. No, that's not what I'm asking. How much time could the Siders receive? In the Ohio. Fucking hate that. Yes. Hello. Okay. Thanks. Okay. Yes, supposedly 16 charges. Okay, hold on. Let me freaking hold on. Okay, here we go. The Siders family, Gary Sr., Christina, his wife, Gary Jr., and Elizabeth face 16 counts of second-degree felony child endangerment, with each charge carrying a prison sentence of 2 to 8 years and potentially over 100 years in total for keeping 16 children in squalor in Hamden, Ohio. Now, Gary Sr. is 73 years old. Christina is 66. Wow. So I wonder how old they were when they got married. Because Gary Sider Jr. is 3 years older than Elizabeth. So when he married Elizabeth at 15, he was 18. That's interesting. I don't know if, let me see if I can find that out. How old was Gary Sider Sr. when he married his wife? That's interesting. Wow. I mean, look how much older he is than her. He's 73 and she's 66. He's 7 years older than her. We know Gary Siders Jr. is 36. Let me see if I can word it a little different. How old was Christina Siders when she had Gary Siders Jr.? Ah. I don't know. I'm going to find that out. That's interesting. From my understanding, yes, Tara. All of the children are theirs. Now, I heard that the oldest girl actually was not Gary Siders Jr.'s child, that when he got with Elizabeth, she was pregnant by another guy. That's what I heard. I'm not going to say it's factual, but that's what I heard. And then after that, right? Yeah, they send me an email. Yeah, they definitely send me an email and let me know. Like I said, you know, a lot of times I like to play a song. I can edit a song out very easily. It's not a big deal. But they will let me know if they don't feel like, you know, they're like, it's just not suitable to run ads on it. Worked with a man who had 21 children by the same woman. Well, not everybody that has a lot of children, you know, don't take care of their children and things like that. I mean, look at the FLDS, right? Some of those women have just a lot of children. But in a situation like that, you also have a lot of what is it, polygamy that goes on. So there are many women who are taking care of a large number of children. They take care of each other's kids and stuff. So it just seems like that. And I don't know this for a fact. This is just me, of course, thinking out loud about a young girl at 15 years old that possibly could have been made to feel that when she became pregnant, that she was a piece of crap nobody would want her. Nobody would love her. Could have been made to feel that at that time, being so young, she could have been made to feel, look, Gary Siders Jr. looks like a freak to me. He looks like the type of guy that would absolutely demean Elizabeth, make her feel not worthy, probably continuously told her, you are lucky I married you. You would have nothing without me. And maybe in some way, Elizabeth felt, and this may sound weird, but maybe she felt that when she was producing these children, that these children loved her unconditionally. And it got way out of hand. So now you're looking at a girl who got married when she was 15, had her first child, continuously had children. Right? It's just sad, you guys. It is sad. Genevieve, where'd you go, Genevieve? Are you still out there in YouTube land? So I wonder if Elizabeth even had a driver's license. Did she even have a driver's license? Was she able to get in a vehicle and go somewhere on her own? Now, Senior, they're going to be doing a competency evaluation on him. But Senior, of course, was released from jail due to his medical conditions. And as I stated prior, they probably did not want to have to pay for Gary Senior's medical stuff. For sure. For sure. But I'm curious to know how old Gary Siders Sr. was when he married his wife. Because like I said, what I say, he's 8 years older than her. Yes, it does say Elizabeth Siders lost premature conjoined twin daughters years before they say the 16 children were found. Okay. Newly obtained records shed additional light on the background of the Ohio couple accused of endangering their 16 children. It revealed that Elizabeth was 15 years old when she married Gary Siders Jr., who was then 18. The couple had previously lost premature conjoined twin daughters shortly after birth. They were married in 2008. After receiving consent from Elizabeth's parents and, of course, the presiding judge, because she was a minor. They lived in Gallia County, Ohio at the time. They lived just 2 houses apart from each other. Records indicate Gary Jr. had completed the 9th grade while Elizabeth completed the 8th grade. So we're talking about 2 individuals here that Elizabeth had only completed the 8th grade and him the 9th. The conjoined twins, they named them Bailey Lee Siders and Faith Lee Siders, were born and passed away November 20th of 2022 at a hospital in Columbus. So in 2022, she lost 2 twin daughters. The records indicated they were delivered at 24 weeks gestation and were diagnosed as thoracopagus conjoined twins. They were conjoined at the chest. Their deaths were ruled natural causes. Okay. So absolutely, how sad is that for Elizabeth? They found the children after they executed a search warrant for the property. What were they looking for? Right? No. The conjoined twins are not legally, they are not named at all. There was no way that the conjoined twins were going to survive. That all happened at a hospital. Those set of twins are not even named in any of these proceedings at all. So why would a search warrant need to be executed for indecency allegations? Now, did he go back to court July 9th? Oh, they pushed that court date back. Elizabeth's family feel like she was indoctrinated and isolated from relatives for years. That's what Genevieve mentioned, the isolation. Her brother hadn't seen her for 15 years. See, the state had to have known something for sure. Look at her. Look how beautiful she was. All of her kids are taken away. We will absolutely be keeping an eye out. Well, you can tell that old man is sick. The dad of the kids wanted for exposure. Yeah, Pete. No, he did it more than once. It was in a matter of a few days or something like that. But I just don't. Why would law enforcement need to serve a search warrant on a house because a person was outside of the home being indecent? Why? I don't think that's the reason they searched the property either. There was a reason they searched that property. There's a reason they went there. Like I said, the twins, out of the 16 kids, the twins were ages 4, 2, and 1. That's kind of wild, right? Gary Sider Jr. always wanted a big family. All 16 children were born in hospitals. That is what Elizabeth's lawyer is saying. They are disputing the claim that the children were confined to a 12 by 12 room, saying there is no evidence to support that allegation. Elizabeth said the older children had cell phones, used social media, and shared inside jokes, suggesting they were not completely isolated from the outside world. And no, I do not believe that Elizabeth Siders is evil. I don't believe that. I really don't. No one has confirmed that Elizabeth Siders is pregnant now. No confirmation. They are trying to lower the bond. They are trying to lower the bond. They believe Gary Sider Sr. may not be mentally fit to stand trial. They are going to evaluate the competency. Now that's senior. They're going to evaluate whether Siders is competent to stand trial, and whether he was legally insane at the time of the alleged offenses. What? By reason of insanity? That's kind of wild. Okay, so they're just going to see if, his mental capacity, and that's Gary Sr., whether he even, understood what was even happening, I guess. Kind of wild. Well, we'll be finding out, y'all. They are still working on the kids' paperwork. I mean, we're talking about 16 children. The basement is where they say that there's heaps of trash in a basement. Right there, here. We'll pull that out. This is a New York Post. No, I'm not logging in. I'm going to start pulling a lot of my stuff up on Twitter and etc. So that way I don't have to use a lot of the content on YouTube. So no, they wasn't locked in the basement for sure. For sure. Damn, Genevieve, where'd you go, Genevieve? She booked. Did you think I was? Okay, Genevieve. For sure. Okay, you guys, I'm going to get off here. I've been on here 2 hours. Let me go. I don't know if I can monetize this one or not. I'll figure it out. You guys know me, I'll figure it out. So thank you guys for being here. We're going to have some fun this weekend. I am going to do a roast. So I'll make sure that I post it on my community page. We're going to have a lot of fun. I want to have a lot of fun. And so y'all know how I am with the roast and stuff. Thank you, Carrie Lawson. Thank you, Mr. A. Thank you, Flies. Thank you, May May. Everybody that came in, I appreciate you so much. Be you, do you, have a good time doing it. I was going to tell you guys something else, but I don't know. I don't know. Things are crazy. I do want to do a my favorite clip channels. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. I just kind of wanted to get this information out there. So, but thank you guys so much for hanging out. I appreciate you. I really do. So you never know what we're going to talk about over here. We talk about a little bit of everything. We do. We do. We do. Let's end with a song, if I can find it. Do you guys remember Billy Squire? His name his name was Billy Squire. And I remember his music, but I cannot I'd have to find it. I would have to find it. Degenerate Loss has a video out, and it's Ernie. I can't remember where he was at, so I didn't want to go over it until I can figure out exactly where he was at on the thing. So, all right, peace out. Be you, do you. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We will figure it out together, y'all, one way or another. So, all right, I got something I got to take care of. So I do appreciate you guys. I will catch you next time. Peace out.